Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
I'm calling the meeting to order, the meeting of April 22nd, 6:30 p.m. Any adjustments to the agenda? Wait, Russ, I think you need to, maybe I need to unmute you. Okay, there you go.
I'd like to add one, 6D, an executive session, negotiating a real estate transaction.
Okay. Anything else?
I have nothing else.
Okay. Step into the minutes of the meeting of April 8th.
I move we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Moved by Toby, seconded by Sheldon.
Mr. Beebe.
Yeah, Mr. Beebe. Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes? We have nothing to discuss about them?
Aye.
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 Kevin, are you here?
Yes, aye.
Okay. The minutes of April 8th have been moved and accepted. Figure out how Kevin can sign those. Communications and public comments. Do you have any? Okay. So, okay, never mind. We're good. Unfinished business, special town meeting, discussion, and our fact sheets. Anybody have any questions about the articles?
I have a big question about the way that's going to happen, but not the articles, no.
Right, we're going to talk about that, I don't know, procedure of meeting. Well, I guess, do you want to discuss the fact sheets first or go over the legal opinion? Does anybody have any questions about their fact sheet, their articles that they're presenting?
Nope.
Okay, good.
Nope.
Let me ask you a question. In the past, Fletcher always say, we so moved. But in this case, are we actually going to read the motion? You see what I'm saying? He normally reads them. All we just say is so moved.
Right.
You doing it that way, or are we going to actually read it ourselves?
Well, I was hoping Fletcher would be here, but, and maybe the first thing we should discuss actually is a procedure of the meeting, because that might have a bearing on.
That's what.
On your fact sheet, I have put, I move the article as warned.
Uh-huh.
That's the process that he does now. And he reads the whole article.
The way we did it at town meeting.
That's correct.
Okay. So wherever we are, that's what we're doing. Okay. Does that tell you anything, Toby?
Well, it tells me that, but I think there's a lot of puzzlement out there about how this is all going to, we're talking about a couple of $1 million.
We're all puzzled. We're
So I think we should. I know.
So, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's it. We'll talk about it. I mean, somebody has to be planning this.
Yeah.
Because I had a question from somebody today saying, how do we vote?
Right.
Yes.
Wait, I've got to admit someone. Hold on. Well, let's talk about the procedure of the meeting then, because that has a bearing on that. So, yeah, so we were discussing the possibility of having the meeting outside. And so did we have a legal opinion on that, Russ, or that's what we're waiting for?
Larry talked to me yesterday, and he's not under the impression that that's going to fly, an outside meeting. But we're all waiting for Friday's quarter turn of the spigot, as he keeps quoting, that it's possibly going to direct procedure on meetings. So we're hoping that he's going to release that so that masks, gloves, and social distancing for groups over the 10 that he has claimed that is the maximum will fly. If it does not, we're back to this teleconferencing, and how you're going to vote is still up in the air, but you will be called one at a time to vote, public as well as select board.
Wait a minute. How do you do that? How do you call one at a time to vote?
Everybody's going to be muted, and the moderator will say, Toby Young, your vote on Article 2. And we'll register it. We'll take your name, make sure that you're a voting member of the town of Westminster and in good standing, and we take down the vote.
So, yeah, but for example, just to use the person that asked me, I mean, I won't say who he is, but I mean, he lives here in Westminster West. He said to me, how do we vote on this? And I said that, well, you know, as far as I know, you'll have to do it through Zoom. You'll have to get on Zoom and be there in that respect. And I would give you the numbers that you would need. And I suggested that he might try it and come to this meeting tonight. But he didn't follow up on it today. Anyway,
You, of course, can do it by phone, just like Sheldon is doing right now, and Kevin. So you can do it by just a telephone. And again, your phone number comes up. The moderator will release the number, and you state your name, and then we check you off on the register, and then we take your vote.
well, you know, it's not going to be easy.
It's going to take hours if we had, depending on how many people we have. But I mean, what is the alternative? What are the alternatives? Well, what are the alternatives? We could.
Hey, Russ, can we go from so you first recognize how many people, let's say there's 105 people, they're on the line. So each one, and then because so often is so many people say, yeah, can you actually just say all those who are against, please raise your hand and I'll recognize you. If only 3 people are against it, will they recognize the fact that the rest are for it and not go through each one?
I'm not sure of the actual procedure yet, Craig, but Larry was more apt to lean towards all 4 articles being voted on at the same time, meaning you're going to get your name called, they'll check you off on the register, your vote for Article 1, your article for vote Article 2, 3, and 4, and we'll be registering you once, and then we're going to ask that you log off so that someone else can take your spot if we have over the 100 callers, and we'll take the votes one call at a time.
Can I, Susan, this is Cynthia Stoddard. Can I interrupt just for a second?
Sure.
I'm curious, has there been discussion of, I mean, I know you have to talk about all this, but of postponing the meeting to a later date so that you can get as much participation as possible? We're talking about a vote for a budget that starts July 1st.
Yeah, no.
That's it. That's what I wanted to know.
Okay. I think that's definitely an option. My only question is, since we've already warned the meeting, what the legal ramifications of that would be.
Okay. To me, I would assume that you would open the meeting and then postpone it to a date certain and assign another date to it. And then see what happens in another 3 weeks. You know, I think it's just, I understand that we could be going into June with this and that you have to come up with a plan to, you know, teleconference or however, but we have time. And I don't know, I'm not a lawyer. So I guess that's just a question I would hope that the board would explore because participation this way by a lot of people that normally participate in town meeting are probably not going to be able to do it.
So Cynthia, is the reason you're saying this is because there's a possibility that we might be able to actually meet in
Yeah.
June? Is that why you're saying that?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
We had hoped a couple days ago that maybe we could have the meeting outdoors, but now it doesn't sound like we're going to know that until Friday. And I mean, my concern is having people find out. I mean, how are people? May 2nd is only a week and a couple days. I was really hoping tonight we'd be able to have it outside, which would have been terrific, but it doesn't sound like that we know that.
Not yet.
So,
Russ, if we go by the dates, and so we pass the vote, then it's 30 days. So we really would have to have it done by May 30th in order to, if we pass it, then it really can't take effect until June 30th. Is that right? So the latest we could have a meeting would be the last week in May. Is that right?
Memorial Day.
No, you could actually do one in June. You'd have to scramble, that's all. But I'm looking at the calendar.
But if you did it in June and they passed it, we still have to wait 30 days after they pass it for you could do anything, which just means you go into July for a week or so and you can't do something.
Well, no, we would operate, the way I understand, we would operate on the current budget.
Right.
Is that what, yeah.
But technically, we couldn't do nothing until July 1st. Did it on June 1st, yeah.
Well, I mean, since we're not going to know for a couple more days, we could have an outside meeting.
If we have to, we can have a special meeting with the select board.
What do you mean?
To decide one of your three options that you've got: outside, teleconferencing, or postponement after Friday.
I don't have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, my only one is I just want to make sure that if we're going to have it May 2nd, that people know how to participate and what the deal is.
Well, we know it's going to be in the Gazette, and that's
the Gazette
come out just the week before it.
The deadline for the Gazette is today.
I know that.
Tomorrow. So, and even Friday, I mean, they can hold it for a couple of days, but you know, it's difficult.
Can we post in the Gazette that it's tentatively May 2nd, but to go to the town website in case we cancel it?
I wrote an article, and so did Susan, stating just that.
Okay.
What did I state?
You use the town website.
Yeah, but if that happens, it has to be on that homepage. People can't have to click through 5 times. You got to take off whatever you want to take off, but it has to be right there where people can see it.
Absolutely.
Among other ways. Okay.
So when would we, is this something you want to do by Friday? We would actually do a quick Zoom meeting with the select board on Friday or Monday or something, is what you think?
Probably have to be Monday.
Yeah,
We won't know until midday
Friday.
What will we know on midday on Friday?
if we can have an outside meeting, or what kind of a meeting, if we can have a better meeting than a teleconference.
Yeah.
I'm for that. I'm for just having another quick meeting to decide whether we're going to postpone it or not.
Yeah.
Sheldon, what's your opinion?
I don't have a problem having a meeting on Friday or Monday or whatever. I'm leaning towards, postponing it for another 30 days or for another, if we can, and see if things, it may not be any better in 30 days than it is right now, but I can see that this is going to be it's going to be a very cumbersome process.
What about you, Kevin?
I agree with Sheldon. I think we should lean towards postponement.
And do you want to wait to make that decision until after Friday, have a meeting?
Well, you know, the problem also is warning
Yeah,
meetings.
right. We'll have to warn that meeting. And how much time we need?
And warning the next, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a problem.
it is. How much time do we need to warn that meeting, Russ?
30 days.
Wait. No, if we
10
had a
days
special
before the
meeting.
paper, but 30 days on postman.
For the
No.
Friday meeting, it's just one day. One day.
Are you talking a select board meeting? Or are you talking the
Select board meeting, that's what we're talking. This,
emergency one can be done within 24 hours?
okay.
Well, let me ask you another question. What, instead of having a meeting, do we actually want to set a date of, let's say, June 6th? I just haven't looked at that. That's the first Saturday in June. It gives us enough time between now and then if we have to push it out further, but I can't believe by June 2nd, we're not going to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving people much more time to notice, hey, listen, we're going to pump it out to June 6th. That's
Yeah.
Saturday, and we'll go from there on it. That means we'd be good on July 6th, which is no big deal.
Yeah,
And you have to be able to make sure that everybody has access to knowledge about this.
right. You have to have some way to see the articles, and the budget has an addition to it, so they can't operate on the budget that's in the town
Right.
report.
But
So,
also by then we'd have time to write something else in the Gazette too, right? We'd have another issue of the Gazette.
if it's the 6th, yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Okay,
leaning towards that instead of having another meeting. It sounds like we're all leaning to pump it out 30 days. Let's just pick something like June 6th and just set it for now.
mhm.
What is what's going to be in this paper? What is going to be in the paper that's coming out right now?
Well, that's a question. It was going to be, this is how you can sign up for the, Zoom meeting, special meeting. Or if we knew by then it would be outside, it was going to be whatever information we needed for the May 2nd meeting.
Okay, so, but since we're now considering not having the May 2nd meeting,
Mm-hmm.
can we develop something that would go in there that would alert people more to what's going on?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely the plan, right, Russ? Well,
Yes, I've already sent my what's up at the town hall, and that has the date, times, and options. But I would imagine they can pull it. I don't know that.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he doesn't. And I asked Robert earlier if he would save some front page space for something on the meeting. So I'm sure they'll be able to get something prominent.
We'll definitely have more practice at this too, if we end up having to go with this. It's time to figure out all the questions, but I think we've giving everybody much more time to say, hey, don't plan around May 2nd, plan around June 6th, and that gives everybody a chance to go on with their lives.
Okay, so I guess we'll need any more discussion about that? Okay, so I guess I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move that we make the town meeting on June 6th at 10 a.m.
Okay, any more discussion? Or do we have a second?
Second. I'll second it.
Any more discussion, board? Yes, no? Okay, all in favor
Aye.
of moving the meeting to June 6th? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye, BB.
Wait, okay. Sheldon,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Toby,
Aye.
Craig,
Aye.
and I. Okay, unanimous. Okay. All right, good.
Susan, when you call the Gazette, will you pull that section of my article out, please?
Yeah. What I was planning to do was maybe work with you to send something.
Yep, that's fine.
Yeah. early.
Yep.
Possible. Okay, that would be good. So I guess we can skip the legal opinion and the Gazette article. We've sort of covered that. And we can go on to the third quarter financials. Everybody got some discussion? I did with them. Anybody have any questions? Russ, is there anything you wanted to point out?
I did that the first meeting. It looks very good. Bottom lines are where they should be, if not in the positive. So no, I really don't.
One question I had was in the revenue, the pilot and the hold harmless. Why are we getting more for that?
The pilot is because of the state police barracks. They finally have given us the full amount. And which other one? I'm sorry.
State of Vermont hold harmless.
We have more people in current use than ever before, but they also upped the rate a smidge.
Okay. I had one other question about the maybe I don't understand this, but the equipment fund, new equipment, 180,000.
What page are you looking at?
I am on page 9.
Those are not complete reports. That is after the budget status report. If you want a full report on the equipment fund, you need to request it and I'll get it to you. Those are numbers of just activity and they're not the complete report.
Okay. So we'll need a complete report.
Are you requesting that, Susan?
Yes, I would like to see that.
Hey, Susan,
Yeah.
I just got a text message from somebody asking me if I was watching the meeting.
Oh, wait, here we go. I'm
You're
sorry.
wondering why you can't get let in. Okay.
Yep, here we go. I wasn't watching on the side. Okay, there we go. Can
You
hear me? Yeah.
muted her.
Who did I mute?
Nate Stoddard.
Right, so.
So
Okay,
you have to unmute that.
he's not unmuting,
No, I'm fine. I wasn't saying anything. I can mute and unmute myself.
right? And if he wants to speak, he puts up his little blue hand, right? Is
Yeah,
that how it's supposed
I
to
can
work?
if I want, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So anybody who wants to speak, put up your little blue hand.
Where's a little blue hand?
You can, I can see it on the side.
Oh, okay.
Problem, I have to, I'm not paying much attention to the slides. All right, so no more discussion about the quarterly financials. Someone tell me where the, okay. Delinquent taxes. Russ, you have something to say about that?
Yes, in your packet, we have 12 items that need to have select board approval. The first one is Stanley Kissel trailer in Shady Pines. Stanley is deceased now. And how the agreement goes with Shady Pines is that if there's any value remaining after they remove it and sell it, then the town gets paid for the delinquent taxes. There was no value in this mobile home. And so I need an official vote to remove it from the grand list to forgive the amount owed of $857.11. This is not negotiable. This is a part of our agreement with Shady Pines.
So moved.
Wait a minute. Let's do this. This is Mr. Beebe.
Yep.
Let's move to do 1 through 12 because the rest of them are
Right.
all basically small amounts. So let's do them all in one vote rather than, unless somebody's got a problem with it, let's do them all in one vote, 1 through 12, and get it done.
Mhm. You have to,
I'd rather do number 1 separate and do 2 through 12 together because those
Okay.
are.
That's
This
what I
was
thought you were doing. That's what I thought you were doing. Yeah, I could see that. So why I've said so moved.
okay.
Just one, and I figured I'm with Sheldon on the rest of them.
Yeah. So it's been moved by Craig. You have a second?
Second, Mr. Beebe.
Okay. Moved by Craig, seconded by Sheldon, that the Stanley Kissel Shady Pines from the grand list and forgive the $857.11. All in favor? Toby,
Aye.
Kevin? Kevin? Oh, he is. Are you there? No. Sheldon, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Okay, so there's 4. Aye, okay, I guess it passes.
I'm going to place him as abstained.
Yep. He's muted. No,
I don't see
know.
Kevin Holmes muted.
What's that?
I see Kevin, but I don't see him being muted.
I don't see him being muted either, and he has 2. Yeah, I
No.
don't know where he is. Hopefully he's okay. 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 So the next 11.
I'll
You wanna-
move that we forgive the taxes on items 2 to 12 and the delinquent taxes on April 10th, 2020 is given to us.
Mhm. Do you have a
Second, Mr. Beebe.
Moved by Craig, seconded by Sheldon, that we forgive these small amounts of property taxes 2 through 12. You want me to name? I don't have to name them all, do I?
Please, no.
Good.
I'm sorry, it's Cynthia. We can't find the blue hand, so I can't raise it. But any context to those, like why you don't need to give me their names. I'm just curious.
One is 51 cents. And I'm assuming that's because the amounts are so small, they're not worth pursuing.
That's
Right.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
And
they're like
some of them are payments that came in the mail as we were adding interest. So we got them and it was already plugged in. So.
okay. I just wanted some context to it because we don't have a list in front of us as participants.
They're all under $10. Well, one's 10.76, but close enough. So, okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Oh, Toby,
Aye.
Kevin? Sheldon?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Yep. Aye. So another abstention, I guess. Wait a minute, I gotta admit someone. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute, Kevin. Kevin, did I just hit your blue hand? I don't know how it works. I really don't, but. Okay.
Kevin is muted now.
I don't see him muted here. Well, which is his number though? I can't tell.
I see Kevin Hughes. I see his name muted.
Well, I don't see his name is not muted, so. And he also has, he might be trying to call here? Is that what this little ringing thing?
His number is that 1917. That one is the one you have to unmute, Susan.
Okay,
There you go. Kevin, are you there?
Can you hear me?
yeah,
Got you now.
Okay, I'm back.
okay, good.
Sorry about that.
What was your vote on those two items, Kevin?
Yeah, aye on both items.
Sorry. Oh, my eye. All right. So we're done with that. We're on a new business.
We have one other item that I would like to discuss with the board. And it's in your packet. It's Mandich versus Tassili LLC with Mascoma Bank.
Yep.
What I've done is I bulleted the facts to date. And for those who don't have it, what's happened is Dan Mandich, Westminster Meats, sold the land through a foreclosure with Mascoma Bank. We were not properly notified through legal counsel. The lands transacted through Mascoma's process, and Tassili bought it for pennies on the dollar. What has happened since then is the taxes were paid by Tassili at the closing for 1/2 of the year. That was year 1819. This year, 1920, Mascoma paid 2 installments, equaling $9,368.90. The town of Westminster received the payments. It had the parcel number on it. We, in the typical process, without question, we put the payments into our process and cashed them. In February, Mascoma called and wanted their money back. And this Jeremy Fryer explained that the escrow payment that we received were Mr. Mandich's payments, not Tassili's, and that this was an error on their part. I requested information from them about Tassili because we can't seem to find where they are located, their main office, nor their anybody would answer a phone. And so Mr. Fryer has been slow in the process of giving us the information that, of course, the bank has because of the bank sale. So I did not return his payments as of yet. Why I'm even bringing it to your attention is I need to make sure that the process that I'm doing is fine with you folks. I feel that Mascoma pressed the issue to the point where the town of Westminster took a loss, and now we've got legal fees and a lot of hours trying to catch up to Mr. Mandich. And it's the least they could do is give us the contact information for Tassili. And that's where we're at to date. So I'm asking, and I'm willing to do whatever you folks want to do. But at this point in time, we still have not gotten any proper information for Tassili LLC from Mascoma.
And why not? Have they said why?
I've been in contact with Mr. Fryer for a couple months, and he keeps promising and hasn't come up with only but a couple calls that he's made trying to get further information from within his bank and within his lending people. So again, no pertinent information, not anything that we can sink our teeth into to get a real address or a real phone number from them to Silly.
They say why they won't give you this information?
No, he said he's working on it.
Oh,
So I would recommend we sit on it until we get the information from the bank we're looking for.
Yeah.
Eventually, they'll decide they want the money back bad enough that they'll give you the information.
I don't think you're
It
asking,
wasn't our error anyway, so.
and I don't think you're asking for anything unreasonable.
Well, I mean, Casilli paid the remaining taxes at some point, so there was some communication. There was an address.
They paid it at the closing because they were made to.
In cash or,
When they paid for the property, they paid for the taxes.
right, in some kind of a,
So they have contact information that they have, but again, Mr. Fryer has not passed that along yet.
well, maybe when we get that, we can give them the money.
That's correct. I'm fully,
How are we going to bill them taxes the next time around?
we're going to get this address because we sent a tax bill and had a small communication from whoever received it and said, this is the wrong address. And that's all we got.
It's kind of a major operation up there not to have any address.
That's correct.
Okay, then.
Do you need a vote on that, or what do you want?
As long as I'm doing the right process in your eyes, I'm good with it. I don't need a formal, because we're not doing anything. We're just going through a process.
Sounds fine to me.
Alrighty, thank you.
Great, you're welcome. On to new business. Appointment to the SEVCA board.
We got a letter from Southeastern Vermont Community Action, SEVCA, requesting that you appoint Nathan Stoddard to the SEVCA board as a representative for the town of Westminster. And it's a letter, dear select board. So there you go.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Toby's move that we appoint Nathan Stoddard to the SEVCA board. Do we have a second?
Kevin will second that.
I didn't catch who seconded.
Kevin did.
Kevin, thank you.
Yeah. Moved by Toby, seconded by Kevin, that we appoint Nate Stoddard to the SEVCA board. All in favor, Toby?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Sheldon?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Okay. Any
Did we
opposed?
ask Nate, since he's on the line, if he's interested?
One assumes he is.
He doesn't get that choice.
2 days.
That's a good question. Thank you. And I appreciate it. Sounds like the vote's passed, and I appreciate that. Real quick, I think everybody knows what SEVCA is. Everybody knows who I am. I reached out to SEVCA a couple of months ago as interest to being on their board to help give back to that organization for what they did for me when they hired me back in 2008. But anyways, part of the board's charter and through section 676B of the community service block grant, they have to have a certain number of board members within 3 different areas. And one of those areas is the public sector, which is where the town falls. And being as my affiliation with the town in the past, and then currently with the community loan, community improvement fund, the rest of the SEPTA board thought the public sector would be the best fit for me. And then with that, it comes with this approval from the town side. What it means for the town is, just some sort of a joint collaboration person between the town and the town's boards and this organization within our community and their board. So again, thanks for that approval. There's a lot going on within the SEPTA board right now with this COVID-19. So I would encourage the board and Russ and anybody, if there's any community issues within COVID-19, please reach out to SEPTA, because there's a lot going on with that, with the stimulus money and such to help with that. So just keep that in the back of your mind. I know we have the community improvement fund. That improvement fund, I'm looking into, and I might actually venture to say to Russ, maybe look into that a little bit, see if that community improvement fund can be expanded from what it's currently used for deeper assistance, mortgages, power bills, such like that. So just an idea. But anyways, again, thanks for the time. I appreciate the vote. And, reach out to me if you have anything where you think SEPTA may be able to help.
Yeah. Thanks, Nate, for doing that. And we have talked for maybe the last 8 or 9 months about having the community improvement, and I don't know who else is on the board, to come in and, talk about what's happening as far as letting people know about that fund and how they can access it. And I think it's, as you said, more important than ever now. A lot of people don't know about it, and it's, several $100,000 is a lot of money to be sitting around unused. So maybe when things settle down a bit, we can have a discussion about that.
Hey, Nate,
Yes, sir.
being involved with, we see what's going on lately is I've been so involved with septic trucks and well drilling pumps. I'm assuming, so somebody in Westminster, because everybody moved home now, all of a sudden there's these issues where you didn't have them before. So I'm assuming that fund could be used if we had some kind of an arc. People think about improving health, but if you got an emergency, you all of a sudden you run out of water, or you need to have your well pumped out or fixed or septic, that money could be used for something like that, correct?
That is a couple of areas that money is definitely able to be used for. From my experience so far with this program that the town has, or with this revolving loan fund, is it is a loan. It's a low interest loan, and folks have to apply for the loan. And when the ones that I've had so far since I've been on this board reach out to me, we start down the path of the conversation, and as soon as it comes to that they have to apply for a loan, most people then shy away, and that's unfortunate. But that's just the way that this program is set up, even through the state. But that's what's happening. That's why you don't see a lot of activity with this. That's why there's $100,000 in this program that isn't used regularly. It's just because it is a loan, and folks have to go through the loan qualification process, and that usually makes people shy away, like I said. But those are items, the septic, the wells, absolutely. Those items, I believe, have been funded by this program in the past. And those items are items that can be used for that.
Do you think they shy away because of, what is the interest rate? Or is it just because of the whole process of applying for a loan? They don't think they'll.
In the very small handful of folks that contacted me through the town with interest in this, it always stops. I think basically to answer your question, Susan, it's because of the process. It's the thought that they have to go through applying for a loan. Even though, the low interest is also or the fact that they're actually borrowing money. It's usually not initially thought of as a loan. They think they're just, maybe it's a grant type of thing. So when they hear that it's a loan with interest and there's a process to apply for this, that's usually what my experience the past couple of years has been as to why people haven't progressed with it or proceeded with it.
Okay, thanks. Any other discussion? Thank you, Nate. Adoption of the local emergency management plan.
In your packet, you have the short version. We did the long version last year. It has not changed. I do have a question about the select board participant. I've used in the report Sheldon still as the planning chief from the select board. But anyway, it has already been approved as written, but I do need a formal approval from the select board for the local emergency management plan, better known as LEMP.
So moved. Kevin Hughes.
Moved by Kevin. Is there a
I'll
second?
I'll second it.
Second.
Seconded by Craig. Is there a discussion? Is this updated at all from last year? Russ, is it different?
There's no major changes in this plan from the last.
Mhm.
We've gained some information about some different facilities that are open to us, which have been added, but other than that, our information, local information is the same.
Okay. Any discussion?
Just a quick question. Why does the police have 603 phone number?
That's a personal cell phone number that she uses for business.
Okay.
Do you want to vote on that? All in favor, Toby,
Yes,
Kevin,
Aye.
Sheldon,
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously approved.
Thank you.
Emergency management program. Okay. Green Up Day. I can probably weigh in on that a little. The state has delayed that till May 30th, the Green Up program under the state. But I've had a lot of people, or several people, call me and also call Russ about they would like to get to it now, and part of it's because the grass is growing up and people have time. So Russ had contacted Ruggiero. Well, you can explain, Russ, what the people are allowed to do.
So we're not making it overwhelmingly popular, but some of the people are really gung-ho, and they obviously need to get out and get some fresh air and exercise, and this is a great way to get the whole family involved. And so they are doing their green up this coming weekend. I called Ruggiero. They said you can have up to 6 bags of trash at your stop. And what I have agreed to with a few people is that if they use their own bags and their own stickers and put it at their own stop, that I would reimburse the stickers. We need to have it done. We have quite a mess in different spots. The folks that have asked are in critical spots where there is quite a mess. So hence the process. And so I still are pushing more people than not to May 30th, because that's where the state has said yes. And that will not put our road crew in jeopardy of picking up trash, as we hope. So anyway, that's what we've got. We're bending a little bit and trying to help people combat this pandemic, and plus help ourselves getting our roads cleaned.
Any
And
discussion?
the ticks are going to be a lot less this weekend than they're going to be May 30th. So
That's another whole thing with the grass and the ticks. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just think it's in a month, it's going to be very difficult to find a lot of that crap along the roadside. So I'm in favor, the earlier the better. So, okay, executive session. we have a motion to go into executive session at the end of the meeting? Yeah,
Need a motion?
So moved, Kevin.
moved by someone,
Kevin,
Kevin,
seconded by Toby. Why don't you second it?
Second it.
Okay. Go to executive session. All in favor? Aye.
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 You're not calling names?
I'm kind of tired of.
I have a question about executive session
Okay.
um, the only thing that makes me uncomfortable about executive session, the way we're doing this meeting, is if we got hacked. And
Oh.
then the information would be not an executive session anymore. It would be out there. So I'm a little I was thinking about that today and wondering how, what would happen if we did something in executive session and it got out to the public by that means. Just a thought.
well, I can answer this. Susan's the host. She can mute anybody that has called in after the executive session has started.
I don't want to just mute him. I want.
And
I
she
want
can
to-
also delete them, as she did Kevin last meeting. So she has complete control of the meeting. So once we're in executive session, she should be fine to be able to keep it in executive session.
Okay, it's just a concern.
Right. So put them in the waiting room. What are you saying, Alex? Alex says put them in the waiting room. Thank you.
Oh.
If they wanted to. I mean, they would just be in there for adjournment anyway, but okay.
Do you
Uh,
do that?
School board meetings.
Pardon?
That's what we do at school board meetings. When we go into executive.
Oh, okay. Who's this? Molly?
Vanek.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I would just have to find the waiting room. Alex, you can help me with that anyway. So,
Colin.
oh, Colin. Yep, sorry. Okay. Manager's report, Russ?
Just a couple quick things. As you're driving around town, notice the cemetery wall that we viewed last fall.
I
We
saw
have
it.
at
I
least
saw
3
it.
spots that are completely failed.
How did that
Fallen
happen?
over, and they're getting worse.
It just fell over by itself. It looks like it's somebody.
No, they fell over by themselves with frost.
Oh.
And so just keep your eye on it. That's why we brought it to your attention when we did. Town hall is still closed to the public. We are waiting for further instructions from the governor before we do open it up, but we are doing a full service of business through the door, and things are going along pretty well. Researchers are having the biggest concern and biggest problem with it. But mostly Ally can do research for them and get them by. Right now it's 2 people in a closed space. Friday he is supposed to be giving us more instructions, so we're playing that by ear. That's just an FYI. And then the last one is there is going to be a parade for our kids of the town. It's going to be by the Westminster Center School's teachers, and they've incorporated the fire department into it, and two town trucks with Wyndham County Sheriff and a group of teachers. And they're gonna go throughout a parade route and beep their horns to the kids. And they've let everybody know that the kids and parents that they're gonna do this. And it's on Friday, 5 o'clock, starting at the Westminster Center School. And I thought it was a great idea.
How are they separating?
They're in cars, Toby. It's a parade route. They're gonna drive all over town.
Yeah,
They're all in vehicles.
and the kids that are watching them are,
They're gonna standing on the side of the road
yeah,
at their houses. So we're just trying to give that the teachers care and that they're looking for the well-being of their kids.
okay.
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Boards and commissions?
I have nothing to report.
Mhm. Other business?
I have
Okay.
nothing there either.
Anybody else? No?
Oh, yeah, of course I do, Cynthia. It's Cynthia. I just wanted to, I watched the last meeting and I saw that there was the note that was brought, or the bank information that was brought. And I know that that was addressed. Kevin and Craig kind of talked about that, but I guess before your next meeting, which I think you're having a site visit for Henwood Hill,
Mhm.
I would like to know what we have secured for funding already from other sources. Because we keep hearing that it's a $300,000 project. We're paying a certain portion of it, but I want to know where that other money is coming from. I know that there's some other questions surrounding all of this that need to be answered, and what we're going to do in phases and spend a certain amount each year or whatever. I think that's a terrible idea. I think we should be funding the whole project and get the project done all in one fell swoop. But I don't understand the funding that's happening with this project. So I don't know who's going to get that together or if it can be available for the next meeting, but I don't think that we have the funding in place.
So let's put out that on the agenda for the next meeting. But that's not the,
It's the first
well, that's
meeting.
just the site visit, right?
It was before the next meeting. I think you were going to the site visit.
We are at that will be the next meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, right. So, well, we'll probably discuss it then. Are we going to meet at that meeting or are we just going to go on site?
You're doing 2 site visits, period.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then after that meeting, you'll have the answers to how the rest of the funding is coming together.
Okay.
You mean after the meeting you'll have the fund? You don't have the funding sources now?
We don't know how we're going to do it. If it's going to be just the 37.5, it's coming
Well-
directly from the budget. If we're going to do it in one big lump sum, then we have to get our grant and donations.
Okay, so I guess what I have to say is that we have been being told that the project is a $300,000 project, that there is funding for everything above the $170,000. At the last meeting, you brought to them a borrowing from the bank for the $170,000. So when you did that, where was the rest of the money going to come from if that project, if they had approved that bank information last week, where, you get my point. I'm not going to drive on about it, but we need to know where the funding is going to come from, or we're going to be right in another meeting where I'm going to be all wound up about not understanding funding for a project. That's all.
We're not borrowing the money. I think we decided that at the last meeting.
She's not saying that. She brings up a good point. I think we just need to put it back on discussion.
Yeah, definitely discuss it. The question is, it'll have to be at the meeting after if we only have an on-site. So that would have to be on the 27th. Anything else about that?
Well, I think Russell's already, I mean, we've already got we already talked about the grants or the possible, I think there was potential of three different grants that we were looking at. Maybe there was only two, I don't know, for the Henwood Hill project. So I don't think the grants have been applied for yet, but it was fairly certain that we were going to get them, I believe. But I may be speaking out of turn too.
Sheldon, I think that's my point, is that you cannot talk to the town about spending money on a project until you secure grant money. That's my whole point. And so I just want to make sure that that doesn't get lost in the shuffle of trying to spend just the 37,000 that we and I have been up there. This project is viable. I'm not opposed to the project. It's very dangerous. I haven't been up there in years. It is silly to me for us to spend just a small amount this summer, having our road crew do some of the work to try to patch this project together. It seems like the funding should be in place. The borrowing should happen, whether that means we have to do another meeting, I don't know, and get this project done if we're gonna do it. It's to do this little tiny piecemeal over 5 years just doesn't make sense to me, but the grant funding should be in place first. So I just want to make sure that that doesn't get lost during the decision process of what to do.
No, but I think, I mean, something has to be done on that, whether we close the road off totally or make it, I mean, if we don't have enough money to do the project, something has to be done on that road. I think that's the point of looking at it, part of it. But I did not see at the last meeting that there was any appetite for borrowing money. Am I remembering that correctly?
You are, yes.
You are correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I don't know what the time frame on these possible grants are. That's at this point, that's the only, well, I don't know what the other options are, I guess. So I guess
And I agree that it should be done this year. I think it's a very, very dangerous place.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a good idea to drag it out.
Yeah, you can't have people backing up on that corner, which is what they do now. It's nuts. It's crazy. So, so I guess we'll have to know more about funding by the meeting of the 27th. Russ, will you have information on possible grants?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Or other options.
That would be part of the discussion. That's part of the whole thing. Is just the scope of the work. Is there different? Have we really done our homework on all the different choices of how we fix it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. We could do a coin drop or something. Any other business? Okay, hearing none, we'll go into executive session.